Describe to us what we should know. You know, for those who haven't spent a lot of time in Baltimore, how is the Baltimore you know different from the Baltimore we see on The Wire?
Well, it's actually two different Baltimores. Part of Baltimore is very much like you see on The Wire, but there's another large part of Baltimore that you see behind me here. Actually, you have two Baltimores right behind me. One, the row houses of some of the poorer urban areas, and then the downtown and the harbor place that people who come here as tourists want to know.
Peter, the Washington Post had a fabulous map of a Baltimore over the decades, over 100 years, saying that Baltimore was different. You, more than anyone I know, has on-the-ground experience in Baltimore. Is the Baltimore of the last 2 weeks unique, or is it symptomatic of many other American cities?
It is clearly symptomatic of many other cities, American cities, and some rural areas as well. Again, there are two Baltimores, there are two New Yorks, there are two Newarks, etc. The bottom line here is we have a choice. This gives us an opportunity. Either we let things get back to normal, in quotes, which is not acceptable for many people in Baltimore, and you can see we're already getting back to normal. If you allow that to happen, the unrest will continue over time, disparities will continue to grow, and we'll have continued problems. Or we can take this opportunity to make the choice to deal comprehensively with some of these problems that we're facing here in Baltimore and elsewhere, and we can be a sort of shining light as to how a city can come back.
Dr. Beilenson, there was an op-ed in the Wall Street Journal over the weekend that I thought was very interesting. It was from Jay Steinmetz, and what he was writing about was his Baltimore business problem. He says that President Obama is wrong. The problem is not a lack of investment in urban Baltimore. The problem is actually poor policy and poor leadership. What's your take on that?
It's actually probably a combination. I actually believe very strongly that the president has been taking a good stand on this. I think city leaders could have done more. And so it's not just dollars that need to come in. There needs to be the political will to deal with what we call the four legs of the stool of a decent, strong, healthy community, with health of community writ large. That is, you need to have affordable housing in safe neighborhoods. You need to have decent public schools. You need to have access to health care and healthy food in what are called food deserts. And you need to have livable wage jobs accessible to the adults in those communities. We don't have all four legs of that stool. It's not just money, it's the political will to go out and do that. And I think that's what we need to do as a city.
Peter, again, you're in the trenches of tactical use of policy. You in the case of health care here. What are the tactics you would like to see by the government of Baltimore in the coming days?
Bringing people together, not just talking platitudes about how we'll make things better, but actually using this as an opportunity to make comprehensive change in Baltimore. It is not enough to just have summer jobs for kids or to rebuild the buildings that were burned down. We have to actually take this opportunity to make a difference. And then if we don't do that, shame on us.
Is Baltimore a business-friendly city?
I think it actually is, and although clearly this is not a good thing for Baltimore business, let's be honest. The view of people from around the country is that this is someplace you probably would not want to come, at least at this time, to locate your business. However, again, if we use this opportunity to address the major problems facing this city and cleaning up the disparities and making this an economy that's accessible to everyone, then we can serve as a shining beacon as to how a city can come back, and that will attract business back to Baltimore.